All right, guys. First off, thank you guys so much for those of you who are able to hop on, and for those of you watching the recording. If you have anything that you want to input after you've watched it, go ahead and comment below on the video just so we can get your input on everything. But basically, Andy and I just got back from leadership, and we're super, super excited about everything that we learned. And there is an overwhelming amount of stuff that we want to share with you guys. So we're trying to break it down into little bite-sized pieces so that we don't overwhelm you. And the first thing that we really felt passionate about talking to you guys about is how to get our coaches started right. Because I don't know about you guys, but both of us are feeling like we're falling behind a little bit on how to get our coaches started right, how to get them seeing success right out of the gates, and keep them going and keep them passionate and excited about the business. And we got a lot of information from some of the top coaches. We heard from Bonnie Engel and Melanie Mitro and Michelle Myers. And there was a lot of great information about how to get your coaches started right, how to run their groups. And we're hoping to start implementing some of those things so that we can figure out what it is that we need to do to help our coaches reach those points in their business as well. Because I feel like I can speak for Andy and I both in saying that our goal is to help you guys see as much success in this as you want to see. And honestly, I would be thrilled to have every single one of you pass me up in this business, because that's the point. I want you guys to reach the level that you want to reach in this. So that being said, we want to completely revise how we're running our boot camps to make sure that we're teaching the things that need to be taught right away, and to make sure that we're not overwhelming our coaches right away. I know as you join as a new coach, it's a lot of information. There's no way we can completely not overwhelm you, but we want to make it very simple and bring it back to the basics so that when you start as a coach, you are able to run with this and really know what it is that you need to do in order to first start and be successful in this. So that being said, we want to start running 2-week boot camps just like we're doing now. We want to start them on the first Monday of every month, just because we feel like that gives you a really set in stone date for when we're going to be starting the boot camps, the first Monday of every month. And we're hoping to run them. They're going to be 14-day boot camps, but they're going to be 10 days of information instead of 14 days of information. So the weekends are going to be kind of the catch up on your posts, or on the post from the week. Make sure that you've read through it, make sure that you've done the homework on it, and that you're starting to apply those things that you've learned in your business. And then also on Sundays, we're going to start posting reminders about, hey, you know, Sunday night is a really great time to post a call to action post. And here's some examples of how to post call to action posts with different wording and different pictures. And we want to pull things from everybody on our team so that we can give them examples, not just from like Brandy Botts and Kelly, who may be above where they are in the business at that point, but we can give them examples down to the level that they're at so that they can kind of tweak things and make it sound like them and make it their own. We want to really, really focus in on Success Club throughout the 2-week boot camp. That's something that we learned a lot and we heard a lot from the top coaches, is that in their boot camps, they bring it back to the very, very, very simple basics of what it is you need to do to be successful. And very basic, what you need to do to be successful is hit Success Club. It means you're helping people. It means that you have challengers in your challenge groups. It means that you are hopefully signing coaches, and some of those points are coming from coaches. And it means that if you are hitting Success Club every month, you're moving your business forward. You're hitting success starters. You're getting those prizes every month. And you're seeing that residual income from hitting Success Club. And bonus, and this is, I think, something that every new coach is concerned about, how do I cover my own costs? How do I cover what I just spent on this challenge pack so that next month I can continue on with my Shakeology? If they're hitting Success Club, they're doing that. So that's something we really want to bring it back to, is the basics of what is Success Club, how do you hit Success Club? We want to put out very specific scripts for our new coaches. So when we talk about, okay, it's time to come out of the closet as a coach, so to speak, and tell people what it is you're doing, instead of just telling people like, okay, you need to do this, we want to give them like a document that shows different ways that we have come out and shown people that we're coaches and told people that we're coaches. So for example, I have my screenshot, and I know I've sent it to a lot of you that are on my team who have asked of exactly what I said when I came out as a Beachbody coach. So we want to give our coaches examples of that too, so that they know what to say. We want to, when we start talking about, hey, it's time to start inviting to a challenge group, we want to give them a script of exactly how they can word those invites, exactly how they can word those promo posts to get their challengers engaged, to get their warm market engaged in a conversation with them, to teach them how to form people and to build those relationships so that they can continue moving forward. We also want to give a script on how to handle objections, because I know that this is a big concern for a lot of coaches, and it's something that every single one of us deals with every single day. It doesn't matter how far into this business you are, you're still dealing with, how do I handle objections? People are going to say no to me all the time. And instead of not prepping our coaches for that, we want to give them that knowledge of, okay, you're going to reach out to people, you're going to get a lot of no's, you're going to get these specific objections, probably the most, the money objection, things like that. And here are ways to combat that. And here is an example of how we have been how we have been said no to, and how we overcame that, so that we can, one, prep them for it so that they're not shocked for it and feeling like they're completely failing, because they're not. That's part of the process of learning how to talk to people. You get a lot of no's, and those no's, honestly, are for the most part not right now's. But it's going to give them an idea of basically what it is that they can say to these people and how to keep moving forward when they get those no's, so it doesn't make them feel like they're failing or that they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. As well, we wanted to start running a challenge group the third Monday of every month. And for that, we're thinking the people who are brand new as coaches, they're going to be going through this 2-week boot camp. And during the boot camp, we're going to give them very specific ways of how to promote the challenge group and how to talk to people about the challenge group. And then we'll get them into this group. And instead of having it be like, okay, we're going to put you on a calendar and you're going to post all this template stuff and get them overwhelmed with it, if they're brand new to this, we're going to go ahead and run the challenge group for them. So either Andy or I can run a challenge group for our coaches. You guys can run a group for your own personally sponsored coaches. However it is that we decide we want to do this, we're thinking the third Monday of every month is going to be the time to run that challenge group. We will be the ones doing those daily posts. And then all they have to do is invite to the challenge group, add their people into the challenge group, and then post. Do what it is that we do every day. Post their sweaty selfies, post their Shakeology pictures, check in with their challengers and with the other people in the group, so that they can see what it is we do running a challenge group. So they can see how it is that we motivate people, the daily posts that we run, the meal plans that we post, without having to overwhelm them with another thing on their list that they've got to do right off the bat. So it just kind of gives them a way to see what it is they need to do once they start running their own challenge groups, or they start running a challenge group with another person on the team. We also wanted to start in week 2, and Andy will talk a little bit more about this for our week 3 and week 4 ideas. Wanted to give them an idea of how to sprinkle in posts about the business. This is something that we heard a lot from the top coaches. It's not all about post a picture of your kid and post a picture of, hey, which detergent should I use? And then on Sunday, you post this big call to action post. It's about every day sharing something about the challenge group or coaching, so that it builds and builds and builds up to it, so that when you do the call to action, it's not something completely out of the blue. And we wanted to make sure that we teach our coaches that from the very beginning. So I think that's everything that I have that we want to do in week 1. We got, honestly, this whole schedule that we're sharing with you, this 4-week first month in the business schedule, from something that Melanie Mitro does. And as a top coach 2 years in a row, I feel like we should definitely take note of what it is she's doing and make it our own. Because there's obviously a reason that it's working. And the schedule that she put out, the calendar she put out, made a lot of sense to us. So we're hoping that it'll make sense to you guys too, and we can kind of implement this. But now Andy's going to talk a little bit about weeks 3 and week 4. So.
Hey guys, thanks for hopping on. So week 3, we plan on doing a 3-day sneak peek. So we've done that in the past. We've done 3 days, we've done 5 days, we've mixed it up a couple times, and we decided to go back to the drawing board, take it back to a 3-day we both agree that a 5-day might be too long for people, and maybe they're checking out by that point. We got to get them the information a little bit quicker, I feel like. So we're going to be revamping that. It'll be the third week of every month, whatever that first Monday is, that's when we'll start the sneak peek, so that you always know that there's an opportunity to invite to that every third week of the month. And on top of that, that first Monday of the third week, we will always host a What is Coaching call that evening. So what that'll do, hopefully, is for people who maybe check out by day 2 of a 3-day sneak peek that's in a Facebook group, maybe they're more likely to hop on the call that night, and they can hear all the information all at once and give you some time to catch up with them even the next day. And hopefully they'll want to join our team from that. So that will be coming soon. And again, you guys will always know to expect that week 3, we will have a team-wide sneak peek to invite to. And that's also something that going forward, we can always tell our new coaches to expect that. So even, let's say you sign somebody up and they really have big goals for this business. So you can tell them right off the bat, okay, the first Monday of next month, I'm putting you in this boot camp. We're going to teach you everything to help you be successful month 1, cover your initial cost, and we're going to help you run a challenge group. Don't worry, you'll know what that means in just a few days. And on top of that, we're going to give you an opportunity of something else to invite. If along the way, as you're talking about this business that you just got into, you can invite to the sneak peek so that we can explain to people that you're hoping to bring on your team what the business is, so that you don't feel like a fish out of water since you're new yourself. So we're hoping that, just like with the whole new boot camp, that it'll also help our coaches see success from the beginning. We all know recruiting can be a scary thing, and I hate that word recruiting. I wish it just has such a bad connotation. And I've said in a lot of my little videos that I've been posting in my team page lately that I don't like to think about it as recruiting. It hit me recently that it shouldn't feel icky, because you're giving somebody an opportunity. We've all been given this opportunity and we all love it. And so it shouldn't be a scary, icky feeling. So our hope is that the new culture of our team will be that it's not so scary to invite to sneak peeks. It's not so scary to talk about the business, because we're going to give them tips on how to do it from the get-go. And hopefully they won't get so nervous about it as we did. Then week 4, we are going to launch a new thing that's going to be, maybe we might change our minds, but we were thinking about calling it a coaching academy. And what this will be for is, rather than focusing so much on rank, a big thing that I've learned in the last couple months talking to other successful coaches and top coaches and stuff, is that it's not just about rank. Rank is a huge deal. Getting to diamond is a big deal. We want to celebrate that, and we want all of you to get there. But that is just the tip of the iceberg on what is possible in this. And so much of the whole business is about building a solid foundation. And by doing that, it's not just hitting a rank. Rank is just one piece of the puzzle. So in week 4, we're going to host a coaching academy where we're going to focus on the leadership ladder. And for those of you who still are like, leadership what? I don't know what you're talking about. Shayna did an awesome call and recorded it a few months back, and we can talk to you about that, or you can watch that training on that. But week 4 of every month, we're going to teach our new recruits and anybody who needs a refresher about what the leadership ladder is and how to maximize their income and build a solid foundation around whatever rank they are advancing to, hopefully, and wanting to advance to in the future, rather than just shooting for a rank advancement. Like I've said before, a diamond income can be any, $100 a week to $1,000 a week. That's really shows you that just hitting diamond doesn't mean the money's just going to rain from the ceiling. So the other thing that we're going to talk about in this leadership group coaching academy is revisit how to sprinkle in stuff on social media about the business. Both Melanie Mitro and Bonnie Engel talked about sprinkling it in daily. And I think that would make recruiting less scary, because if you're talking about how the business is impacting you on a daily basis in little things, I'm not talking about doing a call of action every day. Please don't do a call of action every day. But just sneaking it in. Shane has gotten really good at this. From the littlest thing, tie it back to the business. And we will provide examples, basically screenshot examples of coaches who have done that well to give ideas. So we're not just going to say, hey, sprinkle this in. We're going to give them examples on how to do that. We're also in that group, we're going to talk about momentum. I just listened to a couple weeks ago a call in the TKO Leadership Academy group that I'm in right now. And Mindy Wender talked about momentum. She calls it the big mo. And so I want to incorporate that into our new training because it is key. It is so important. Momentum is much more difficult to build up than it is to maintain. So we want our entire team who has goals to really run with this business to gain that momentum and then keep it. So we're going to give examples on how you can do that, what you can do every day. And our hope is that people will gain that momentum and then stay there so that you're not feeling like you're having to go back and start from scratch all the time. And also in that 4th week, our hope is that for the people who aren't just discount coaches, they'll be in that group. And we can talk about how, hey, it's the end of the month and hopefully you met Success Club and we're so excited for you that you did. You hit Success Club in your very first month and now you got to do it again. So it's going to be one giant pep talk on you did great this month is your first month. You covered your cost. Now we just do it all over again so that we can help them continue that momentum again. Another thing with that, kind of back to the what is coaching call, but this can be used anytime any of you need some help with a coaching call. You could ask Shayna or myself. We learned something, and maybe Shayna can screen share.
I'll screen share right now for you.
A really good tool if you're nervous about hosting, say you have somebody who's like, yeah, I want to learn about the business and it's the first week of the month and nobody's hosting a sneak peek and you're like, shoot, I don't want to wait. Don't wait. This is what we're going to teach you to make you feel more confident in hosting your own call on talking to somebody about what the business is. The first step would be, I'll just use myself as an example. I will host a call with you and you'll be on the line. And so you watch, so you listen to me and you kind of learn how I talk about the business and you can take notes and things like that. And you're on the line watching and you're also there so that you can help answer questions to whoever you brought on the call with you, whether it's your mom or a friend or whoever. And then the next step would be we do it together. So we get on the call together with whoever you are talking to about the business and we kind of host the call back and forth together. So we would talk ahead of time and decide who's going to talk about what and form a game plan, but I'm still there as your support. And then the third time you would do it and I would just be there as like your safety net. So if you feel like, you all of a sudden blank on something or you're stumbling over your words because you're nervous or whatever, I'm there as your safety net to help you through the call and to give you that little boost of confidence that I know you can do it. And then by then, you'll be doing the same system with your downline. You'll be hosting these calls and they'll be watching you do them so that they learn how to duplicate the process. I felt like this was really good idea, really good structure on how to go forward with helping people recruit, because I know that that's such a scary thing for so many people and it doesn't need to be. If we just get down to the basics with it and really talk from the heart on how it's impacted your life, it won't be so scary. But I know doing that first what is coaching call, I know the first time I did it, I was scared and I felt like I was going to stumble all over my words. So if you like this system, then let's get right down to it now. We don't have to wait for new people to come on board, but we want everybody to feel comfortable hosting these calls. So this is going to be the formula we use to help teach you guys how to feel comfortable and help our future teammates learn how to feel comfortable talking about the business on what is coaching calls. And then
Shayna,
I'm
going to add something really quick to this. One of the things that Michelle Meyer said, because I would look at this and be like, oh my gosh, like that's like 4 big steps, I feel like. And one of the things that she said is, whether this is a new coach call that you're doing, a what is coaching call, or whether this is a getting started right call, this is the same process that you can use for basically anything it is that we do in this business. Whatever you use these steps for, don't feel like we get to the we talk step and then you automatically have to go to that you do it and I'm going to watch you step. If you feel like you need to do the we do step a few times, or you need to do the I do step and you watch me a few times before you really feel comfortable moving on to the next step, that's fine. It's not just a like 4-step, boom, 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 and you're done process. It's a way for us to help you guys step up as leaders, to help your coaches step up as leaders, and to help them feel comfortable doing this as well. But at the same time, it's not something where we're just going to like kick you out of the nest. Like, we want you to feel comfortable doing that. That's the point of this. So if after we get to the step where you've watched me and we've talked about what it is that we did on that call and what questions do you have about how I ran that, then we get to the we do step and we do it together, and then we talk afterwards and we talk about how it went, and you're like, you know, I'm really not that comfortable doing this by myself yet, then we do another one together, and that's okay. I don't want you to feel like you've got to like fly up these steps and get to the you do, and now your coaches are watching you and you're like, I'm still not sure what I'm doing. Like, this is the point of this entire system, is that we want you to feel confident in what it is that you're doing as a coach, and confident in what it is that you're doing as a leader. So that's my little snippet I wanted to add.
Does anybody have any questions so far? Or anything to add? I mean, I know we kind of just breezed through that 4 weeks of what our new plans might be, but what do you guys feel like was helpful from our original boot camp, whatever one you were in? What did you think was too much information? Give us some feedback.
I know for me personally, when I started, it was incredibly overwhelming, because it was like I got added to like 7,000 groups all at once. And it was like, I'm part of all of these team pages all of a sudden, and then I'm part of this Emerald group, and then I'm like going through this boot camp and all these videos, and I was just like, oh my God. And my daughter at the time was only like 7 months old. So on top of that, like, I was trying to juggle that. Like, I can't imagine somebody who has a full-time job who's also trying to do this plus with kids. So I know, like, for me, that was overwhelming, and that's part of the reason why it took me so long to kind of really dive in and get into the business, because I couldn't dive in and do it all at once, because I didn't know where to start, and I was overwhelmed with everything. It just seemed, but I like the idea of a more structured 4-week. I feel like a lot of the top coaches that I follow, that's kind of how they word it when they're doing like their call to action, like I'm hiring, so to speak, like their mentorships. They make it sound like, I'm going to give you a 30-day training outline for you to be able to run the business. And then after that, like, you're on your own. I think that that's a really great way of going about it.
Yeah, one of the things that actually I started doing this after I talked to you, Shannon, about how you felt overwhelmed when you first started. One of the things that I've started doing, and whether you're on Andy's team or my team, I add people when I first sign them up as coaches. I'll send them the Getting Started Right email, and then I add them to my team page. So Team Goal Crushers, if you're on Andy's team page, you add them to Faithfully Fit. And then I add them to the Team Hard Hitters page, because I feel like that's a very easy page to ask questions on. It's not too many people, but it's enough people that you're going to get your questions answered, and I leave it at that. And then instead of adding them to like the TKO page, which is very overwhelming for a lot of people, there's a ton of coaches, there's like 8 million posts a day on that, I wait until they show me that they actually do want to run with this business and they get to diamond rank or above, and then I'll start to add them to that page, so that it's not like, here's 18 different team pages I added you to. Like, I feel like that is very overwhelming. So that's one thing that I've done, that if you guys want to start doing that, you can, is just add them to less stuff until they're ready to be added to those things, because it is a lot of information. So
that's really helpful feedback. Thank you, Shannon.
And also, too, I know you said that you don't like to use the word recruiting. I think, like, the way that I keep trying to, because I want to have business starters on my team. Like, I need a balance of discount coaches, but I need to start working on finding people who actively really want to turn this into a business. And I think if you word it in a way where you're more or less like, if we could word it in a way where we're more or less like hiring for our team instead of saying that we're recruiting, I think that that could be more appealing to people. And like, I've even been trying to think of, like, I know I posted it in Hard Hitters, and I think I posted it in TKO just because those were larger groups and I wanted feedback if anybody had done this. But like, I don't know if anybody's actually like, if any of you are part of LinkedIn, but like, I know I have a LinkedIn profile, and like, I was thinking like, that's a place where people go to find jobs. And that's a place where people like do recruit, like recruiters are on there trying to, and headhunters and all of that. And I'm like, how could I utilize that in order to find people who really want to use this as a business opportunity? Because I think a lot of people look at it as it's a multi-level marketing business, the same as it Works or Jamboree or any of those other. I mean, there's so many multi-level marketing companies out there that I think people just see that and they instantly just get turned off because they think pyramid scheme and they just think that it's too good to be true.
Right.
And also after the last year of just watching people, like, it is what you put into it. And if you're willing to put the work into it and just do it and go through the training, like, it is possible to make a full-time income and a very good full-time income off of this. And at the same time, like, you're helping people get healthier. Like legitimately people are losing weight and doing it in a healthy way and not in an unhealthy way. So like, for me, it's like, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't want to do it, you know, like, but it's just, how do I find or get that reach to those people who are like me and you and Michelle and Shanna and everybody else that like are self-motivated to be able to do it on their own. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's where I struggle.
That's really good. And Shane and I have talked about this a million times because, we want to recruit like-minded people. And it was really helpful to hear from these top coaches to be really hard-nosed about, you want to recruit like-minded people, so don't make it sound like it's easy. And I don't think any of us really do in our posts. I mean, I can't say I've seen all of your call to actions from every single one of you, but I don't think anybody in our team is portraying that this is like a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that. But I think people do think it's too good to be true when you post about income things or what you've been able to pay for, anything when it comes to the money side. So what they suggested was talk about that it takes work and this is what I've sacrificed to do this and this, but at the end of the day, this is what I built from it and I'm proud of that. And so you're drawing in more people that go, okay, that are hardworking people that see the potential in it, and you're not just drawing in the person who goes, oh sweet, I'm going to sign up for this, and if I don't make money in a month, I'm going to quit. So the way that you post, just like what you were saying, Shannon, you've hit it on the nose. You need to speak to your target audience, and not just in a demographically way, but in a way that you're speaking to that go-getter out there that maybe they don't even know they're looking for something like this. But if you talk about it in a way that it motivates them and inspires them to give it a try rather than I'm just going to sign up for something and see how it goes. I think there's a big difference there. Shayna, would you agree?
Yeah, and the one thing that I heard a lot at leadership was, one, speak to your target audience. Don't make it this broad, like, are you hardworking? Are you motivated? Are you whatever? Like, speak to a target audience, because people read through these lists of things that we say about what a coach is, and they might be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Oh, no, that's not me. So they don't reach out to you and they don't say anything because you haven't spoken directly to that person. So really target in your call to actions on a specific topic and on a specific person that you're looking for. And then the other thing, I think this is where sprinkling in your business helps a lot. Because if you're talking about what it is that you're doing as a coach all week, and I'm not saying be like over the top about it, but for example, I posted a post yesterday about how I was doing my getting started right calls and doing calls and stuff at the park while my son is playing. And it's things like that it's like, okay, yeah, it does take some juggling. It does take putting in some work when you might not necessarily want to be working, but it is doable. And I feel like sprinkling those posts in throughout the week, and then you do a call to action, people have seen what it is that you're doing throughout the week, and they realize whether or not that is something that would fit them.
And not only that, but the top coaches talked about how by sprinkling things in, a lot of times they've had people join their team and then say that a lot of their questions had already been answered just by watching their social media. So by the time they even had the very first communication with them, these people were coming to them already knowing so much about the business just by watching what that one person posted. So I think that's key. I really like at My Super Saturday in San Diego, Jeff Hill made a really good analogy that, you know, this isn't a quick get rich quick scheme, and but at the same time, you do have, if you're willing to work hard, you do have the potential to make a really good income in a short amount of time in comparison to most other traditional jobs. And he put it in, he talked about how, you know, if you go to a 4-year university, you are paying a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars to go to school to learn a trade, to then maybe get a job that you'll be earning income to then pay back those loans or whatever, however you paid for your schooling. So this is something that is so doable for anybody who's willing to put in the work and really get down to their personal reasons for doing it. And I always say, if you are true to this business and what you want out of it and your intentions for other people, then it will work. If you are truly here to help people and every day you strive to, you know, reach out to those 3 new people, this will work for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I just really like that analogy. So
No, it's a really good analogy. I love it. So anybody else who's on the call, is there anything else that you guys want to throw in about how we did the new coach boot camp, what you felt overwhelmed with, what you wish you would have known earlier than you knew it, so that we can, the whole point of this call is to hear from you guys, because basically Andy and my plan is run February like we've been running it. Do our 2-week boot camp starting on February 1st. Do the sneak peek, which we may or may not team up with Kelly again like we did this month. And then March, we want to start a new game plan, and we want to get all of you involved in figuring out how to roll out that game plan, because you're all leaders on our team and you're all people who are signing up coaches and are excited about this. And we want to make sure that we're reaching the right people. So what other input do you guys have? What other ideas do you guys have? And if you don't have any right now, don't feel like if you don't have it now, you can't tell us. Like, feel free to message us or comment on the video. I'll post this recording. But what other ideas do you guys have? What other things do you wish that you would have known or that we could help with, so when we roll this out in March, it'll be really successful for our coaches?
Well, I just started. I'm Molly.
Hi, Mom.
And hi. And so I started trying to sign me up Sunday, Monday, basically, is when I got everything going. And I am a full-time mom and a full-time worker. I work 80 to 100 hours a week on top of having 2-year-old twins. So this is definitely my ultimate end goal, is to be a working mom at home with my littles. But trying to juggle everything and make sure that I create enough time to be successful on top of the overload of information has been super overwhelming. But she has been really patient with me and answering all my questions, even if it's at 9:30 at night. So I would say I came in a little late to the call, but structuring it would be super helpful. And then I went to go do my 10 goals for my first day of the boot camp last night. And it was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I have so many hurdles that I want to meet, that I want to go over to get to the next thing on my to-do list, that I can't even like imagine what goals I would write, because there's so many things that I need to tackle. So breaking it down maybe in simpler increments of things like that we need to do. And, you know, by the first week, make sure that you've addressed, you know, these little things, so that way we have kind of a better idea of what we really should be doing and what's more important to focus on initially, so that you create such a good foundation, so that you know what to work off of from there, maybe, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense, and I love it. And I think one of the things Andy and I were talking about, like the weekends are usually those days where we don't want to give people a lot of information. And I think that having the Saturday as like a recap, like, okay, here's what you learned this week, and these are the things that you should get done this first week, and here's a recap for the second week and things we should get done that second week. Maybe Saturday can be more of like a recap what we did this week so that you're not super overwhelmed kind of thing. I like that idea. I think that's great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and two, I like that idea because I was going through like the power hour and like the stuff that you should do weekly and the stuff you should do daily. And that's perfect because then you could start off like, okay, for this next week, this is what I should have recapped for last week. So now I can tack those on for the next week of things that I needed to follow up with, you know, like the yesterday stuff that I didn't do. I need to make sure to tack those on to today or whatever. But so far, everything has been relatively smooth, but definitely overwhelming for sure.
No, for sure. I think that's a really good idea. And I like you had said something about how you weren't sure, like the goals that you were setting, and there's a lot of hurdles that you feel like you need to jump over right now. So I think maybe that's something, maybe in our leadership group, I'm not sure if you guys think that would be too late or not, but maybe that's something we could tack on to that week 4 training for like the leadership ladder stuff, is how to go about reverse engineering your goals, and whatever your goals are, figure out what steps you need to take in order to reach those goals. Because I know that that is something that overwhelms me as well at first. Was they told me, okay, come up with these goals, and I did, and I wrote down my goals, but I had no idea how to get to those goals. So I think that's something that would definitely be beneficial. I don't know when we should throw that in, because that, like you said, it's very overwhelming at the beginning, and I don't want to completely overwhelm people. We want to try and make it as simple as possible, but I like the idea of somehow tying reverse engineering your goals in so that whatever those are, you know how to actually do them.
Well, and like when we called together, that was one thing that really helped, was when you actually outlined out when I had to hit, you know, diamond and like 1-star diamond and 2-star diamond and all of that. And like we came up with like the specific dates that had to coincide with events and bonuses. Like, if you hadn't helped me with that, like, honestly, I would have never figured that out. Like, I wouldn't have known that those were the dates that I needed. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's a lot of really little things that new coaches and even not so new coaches, like, we don't know. And I know a lot of it just has to go through, like, I've gone through, I've tried to go through as much information as possible in my online office, but sometimes it's just like, I feel like sometimes the information is really vague. Like it's not really super specific as to like you said, when we sat down for the call and you were like, hit diamond by this point and hit 2-star by this point. And then by this point, this is when you would have to like hit this, and then you would qualify by this date. Like, that to me helped me, because now I have specific dates that I know that I need to work towards. And it's also coinciding with like a paycheck. So like you said, it's like more motivation, because I know if I hit those by that time, like it's inevitable if I'm hitting Success Club and all of that, like I'm going to make more money. You know what I mean? Like,
I think one of the things that Andy and I have both struggled with, and I hope I'm not just talking for you, Andy, but I feel like one of the things that we've both struggled a little bit with is that we don't want to overwhelm our coaches. And we know how overwhelming it already is in the beginning. So we kind of hold back on basically blurting out every bit of information it is that we've learned or that we know, because we understand that that is very overwhelming when you're first starting out. So I'm thinking one thing that could be really helpful is if you're pushing for a certain goal or you have a certain goal in mind, one thing I would suggest is posting that in the team page and just be like, hey, you know what? My goal is to go to the leadership conference, as an example, next year that you and Andy were just at. What do I need to do in order to do that? So that we can answer that on our team pages, so that other coaches who may be thinking the same thing can also get that answer. Like I had Brianna and Danielle both ask me, like, how do we get to leadership? What is this all about? So I made that post in the team page about like, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's the deadlines for it. And here are ideas of how you can reach it. Just because that way I don't feel like I'm blurting a bunch of information to people who may or may not want that information yet, but still able to answer it in a way that if people wanted that information and weren't really reaching out for that yet, they could still get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, and there's another, there's something else, like, I don't think it's specifically like a Beachbody funded like leadership class retreat, but have you guys heard of Platinum Edge?
Mm-mm.
Christine Dreyer.
That's her team, I think.
What's that?
Her team is Platinum something.
Yeah, and she actually hosts an entire like training, like 3-day conference once a year. Her and her husband put it on, and it's open to any Beachbody coach in the entire company. Like, I don't think that you need to be specifically like at any sort of qualification or anything. I mean, granted, you have to pay for it like out of your own pocket, but like she does and walks you through like a 3-day training on how to build your Beachbody business. And she has like celebrity trainers go there as well and do like keynote speaking. And she's got like top coaches in the company that go and also do like individual training. And I was like, I think it's like in September. But that's something that I was like, I'm always looking for any sort of training. Like, I try to do as much free training online as I possibly can, but I don't know, it's something to look into. And if people in the team are all interested in getting together and maybe going to, as a team, depending on cost or whatnot, like that's just, I think it would maybe be another great way for team building and also learning more ways to build our business. Just something to throw out there.
Yeah, I never heard of that, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it either. I think that too, Andy and I have talked about this a lot, where we get really pumped from all these trainings. It's really exciting for us, and we like going to it. We like hearing their success stories and what it is that they're doing. And one of the things that I learned from leadership was everybody's different. Everybody learns in a different way. Everybody is motivated in a different way. So maybe something that is super exciting to me won't be exciting to anybody else. So if there are certain things that you want training on, or certain things that you're like, I don't really know what this is about, but I really like to learn more, ask us. Like, send me a message, because I am more than happy to make our next team call about whatever that is. Because I dive into trainings all the time. That's most of my personal development, is listening to calls. So if you have questions about stuff, you want to learn more about stuff, and I feel like Andy probably feels the same way, like, ask us, because we will be more than happy to share it with you. So
yeah, I'm the same way as Shayna. I'll get on calls all day long if I could. But another thing I want to say is, one thing that Bonnie Engel said was, everybody talks about having these aha moments in the business, especially when you hear success stories. Instead of just having that aha moment, put it into action. So when you're listening to a call and you hear all these amazing tips, decide that every call you hear, you're going to take at least one tip and actually do it that day. Implement it into your business one way or another. That's something that I've tried to discipline myself into doing lately, because like Shayna said, I could listen to calls all day long. I love them. And so rather than just listening to them and going, oh my gosh, that's so cool, and then calling Shayna and be like, that was so cool, did you hear that? We're really trying to take what we're learning and do it. And I would strongly encourage all of you to do that. It's been a game changer for me in my business. So
definitely. So is there anything else that you guys want to throw in about how we can get our coaches started right, stuff for the new coach boot camp, any thoughts that you have on the kind of like game plan that Andy and I have thought out? I mean, nothing is set in stone. So if there are things that you're like, oh, I like that idea, or no, that I don't understand why that would work, now is the time to put it all out there, so we can really take February and make the game plan and make it like an action plan that we can use in March. So any other input from anybody? All right, well, so if there isn't anything else that anybody wants to add to that, we're just gonna share a few other little tidbits. If you think of anything else, like I said before, that you want to add in, any other questions you have, feel free to comment below when I post this video on the team pages. But the one thing I wanted to say really quick, Bonnie Engel said this, and for whatever reason, I've heard it so many times from other people, and it just kind of clicked with me at leadership. And I'll read it because I wrote it all down. I have mom brain and I would forget otherwise. But she basically asked, like, just put the question out there for everybody and was like, has coaching changed your life in a way? And whether you're a brand new coach, you've been doing this a year, you've been doing this a few months, whatever, how has coaching changed your life? Because I'm guessing that you are not here just for the money. You're not here just because like, oh, whatever, I'll see if this works or I'll do this, whatever. Coaching in one way or another has changed your life. Even if you've just started, it is a way for you to get healthier and it is a way for you to hold yourself accountable. I know for me, personally, it has made me a way more confident person than I ever was before. And I'm doing things that I never in a million years would have thought I would have done. I know it helps people financially. It helps people with their fitness and their nutrition. It helps their families with their fitness and nutrition. But has coaching changed your life in some way? And I'm guessing that no matter where you are in your business, no matter whether or not you feel like you are failing or you are absolutely rocking at this, coaching has changed your life in some way or another. So why would you hesitate sharing this opportunity with somebody? Why would you feel guilty or like you are selling something to somebody by presenting this opportunity to them? If they say no, they say no, and that's fine. But coaching has changed your life in one way or another. So it's in a way a little selfish to not share that with other people and not give them the opportunity to have these life-changing moments as well. And she said that, and I was like, that's so true, because I always thought like, oh, I don't know if I should reach out to this person about coaching. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, you know what, you're right. Coach, I can think off the top of my head of 5 ways that coaching has significantly changed my life over this past year. And why would I not want to share that with other people? So that's my last little tidbit I wanted to say about it, just because I love Bonnie Engel and I just thought what she said was awesome. I know Andy has a few little things that she wanted to share, some notes, and we will definitely go into more detail about this later. We don't want to take up too much more of your guys' night. And then we'll call it. So Andy, if you want to go ahead and share your little tidbits.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and I could do a whole call on this, so I'll spare you, but one thing that really hit me this weekend was I am not organized. I feel like a hamster on a wheel over here. I feel tied to my phone and my computer, and something that I said I wouldn't do. And at times in this business, I've been in the business, a year and a half now. I said I wasn't going to do that. And at times I've been better than others, but I'm deciding now to take more charge with this and get organized. So I downloaded what's called the Coach Tracker and printed a bunch of copies, and I posted it in my team page, but I'll make sure that all of you guys have access to it. I'm sure Shayna posted in her team page as well. And it's just a way to track things. I've never tracked my business. And I was sitting in leadership this weekend going, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm earning, a decent amount of money, and I treat this like a business, but then at the same time, I'm not. And it's driving me nuts, especially with this little guy now. I'm not going to lie. It's been stressful to maintain the level of work that I've been doing. And I want to continue to love this job as much as I do love it. And I don't want to feel like a hamster on a wheel. And I don't want the team culture to be that because of what I do. I don't want everybody to feel like Andy's just working constantly. That's what I need to do to be successful, because it's not. And Melanie Mitro, I'm taking her lead on this. She has a calendar. She maps out every day, every week, every month, down to when she's going to run groups, when she's going to promo them. Everybody on the team knows what she's up to so that they can emulate that in their own businesses. And I'm sorry I haven't been a good leader on that, but I'm stepping up to the plate now and taking it a step further. But scheduling for myself when I'm going to do certain business activities. And I want to encourage each of you to do that now. Don't wait until you're further on and you have a bigger team and then you're a hamster on a wheel like I am. Schedule it now. Every day, your 3 vital behaviors are a non-negotiable. You do those every single day, right? Your power hour every single day. So that you just do it. You don't even need to put that on your calendar, because I hope it's happening every day. It should be. Beyond that, certain things that I do in my business, I'm going to plan out when they're going to happen during my week and during my month, so that I'm not sitting there on my phone all day long feeling guilty, or when I'm not on my phone feeling guilty. I can't do that anymore. I'm telling you all this right now because if any of you are feeling that way, I hope that with me nipping it in the butt now, you can as well. And You know, when you're with your family, be with your family. Don't be on your phone. Put your phone away. I've been better about that lately. A lot of the top coaches talk about setting business hours. You've probably heard that on other calls, but it's so, so important. Don't think that you have to answer a message the minute your phone dings. Those people will wait, you know, and especially, you know, think you guys are successful businesswomen in this. No matter where you're at in your journey, you are successful businesswomen, and successful businesswomen do not need to jump the minute somebody has a question or wants to buy something. They will be there in an hour when you're ready to sit down and focus on that person. And that way you're giving your full attention to your family and to that client or customer or coach or whatever it is. So another reason I'm bringing this up is, as my team, I want you guys to know that if I don't answer you right away, don't take it personal. I'm just trying to be better about it for myself and for the team. I have certain times that I'll be posting in the team page when I will be answering messages, so that if you post at a different time and I don't answer, since I used to answer like the second I'd hear from any of you, I just don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, or that I don't, you know, think your question is important. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. And like I said, I encourage all of you to do the same. Don't be a hamster on a wheel. Get organized now before you move forward, and you will be so glad that you did. And thank you all for getting on the call tonight. It's really nice to see you girls. And if you're listening to the recording, go team. I'm glad that you're plugging in and learning how to move your business forward.
All right, guys. So does anybody have anything they want to add at the very end, or are we all good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Y'all need more wine.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, it was great to see all of you. And yeah, like Andy said, let's just rock this. If you've got anything else you want to add, let us know. And March, we're going to roll this out. So get excited and rock Team Cup. Yay.
Yay, Team Cup.
All right.
Bye, girls.
Bye, guys.